People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Enugu State has denied claims that it sponsored a recent protest by aggrieved members of the main opposition party, the All Progressives Congress in the state. Well, some aggrieved members of the APC had on Monday staged a protest in Abuja, accusing the state chairman of the party, Ogbodo, and the state governorship candidate, Uche Naji, of gross misconduct, incompetence, and maladministration. Enugu State PDP spokesperson Nana Ogbodo says the party was dragged into a matter that it has nothing to do with.
Ordinarily, the Enugu State PDP should have no business with the self-confessed fraud, embezzlement and impunity going on in the Enugu State chapter of the APC, except to say that they have further exposed to the world that they have no good intentions for Enugu State. However, we have, as usual, been dragged into a purely APC affair by the garrulous Ogbodo, who has claimed that the protesters were sponsored by PDP. Of course, Abola's penchant for looking for scapegoats rather than face his demons is legendary. As you are well aware, the crisis rocking the Enugu State APC is protracted and predates the current electionary season.
Well, let's cross live now to Enugu and speak to the man you just saw. Barrister Nana Ogbodo is the Director of Communications and spokesman of Enugu State's PDP Campaign Council. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. It looks like, well, it does promise to be a very, very well-contested situation there in Enugu State. Is it fair, would it be fair to say that it's not going to be a walk in the park for the PDP in Enugu State?
Good evening. Well, Enugu is going to have a very robust campaign this season, but not because of opposition, but because of the new vista of campaign that has been introduced by our candidate, Dr. Peter Ndubisimba. For the first time in a long while, he has not only given us his blueprint, a very robust blueprint, he has also given us the ways he's going to achieve the goals. And the Enugu people are excited. They're excited about the details of the manifesto which he has introduced to the people of Enugu State, especially even the tagline that tomorrow is here, which speaks to the current economic situation in the country, but from a positive perspective. It's like a rallying call to action, spurred by the realization that we can actually shape the future of our being by the actions we take today. It is a kind of affirmative developmental proposition which suggests that, look, we have the capacity, we have the location, we have the ability, that we have all the while been whittled down by a curious paralysis of the will. And this time around, that Enugu is on the threshold of a new lease. And that is exactly the excitement in Enugu, not about opposition. Is there really an opposition party? There is no opposition because Ogbodo, for instance, is like a workman that quarrels with his tool. A man who had the fortune of people like Ken Namani, people like Sullivan Chime.
Indeed. Well, those are your views of another man who's not here. But let me ask you, you seem to be dismissing the opposition in Enugu State at the moment. And I mean, political watchers and analysts are saying it's going to be a tough call because for the first time we're seeing strong opponents in the opposing parties, including Labour Party, the All Progressives Congress, which you just talked about. And if you're dismissing that they even have a chance to the race to the Lion Building, like they call the government house in Enugu State, why then is the APC accusing you of sponsoring violence against them?
Well, you know, as often the case, the last refuge of scoundrels is to assume that their enemies are the enemies of God. By the grace of God, we have really no issue to grind with APC in Enugu. People who protested in Abuja yesterday, we are members of APC, and this is not even the first time they are protesting. You will recall that sometime last year, Such big people that really made APC what it ought to be. People like the distinguished Senator Ken Namani, people like the Minister for Foreign Affairs, people like the former Governor Sullivan Chime, people like Osito Okechukwu. A whole lot of them went to the party headquarters and said, if you really want this party to move forward, remove this man from our list. This is not the first time they are protesting. But instead of addressing, one would have expected a man like him to really take up the gauntlet and begin to reconcile his party. Whenever he's asked questions about what efforts are you making to reconcile a party, he launches into PDP. And PDP has no reason really to contend with APC. If APC was in ICU, Ogbodo has completely embalmed it. And it is no longer in existence. Look at what will happen tomorrow. If it's not going to import people from the neighboring states, you will see that the small space that he chose, Okpara Square, is a small space. Why didn't he choose the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium if he really had people around him? But he knows he has destroyed the fabric of the party. And in fact, it makes the whole thing a lot more laughable for him to say that PDP will concern itself with what is happening in APC now. For what purpose?
Well, we would like to, just plead with you, urge you to use more, tempered language in referring to opposition, even though they are opposition. Well, you say that, look, what business of APC is there in internal affairs of the PDP? But you seem to also be, poke-nosing in the affairs of the APC. You've invited the EFCC to investigate the APC's internal affairs as far as the $1.5 million is concerned, and another 288 million naira fraud rocking the APC. Would it not be fair to say you're an interloper?
Oh, no, far from it. What we are saying is that instead of them even to concern themselves with telling the people, this is a party that wants to contest an election as crucial as governorship, but they have no blueprint. As I'm talking to you, there is no blueprint one can refer to. This is our mission. This is our vision. And then you begin to say everywhere they go, it's about money. The money they got from the convention, the money they got from sale of forms. And we are saying, instead of all of you wasting the time, we want an innovative political situation in Enugu. They are not contending with us. We are talking to ourselves. We want an opposition that will articulate some force for democracy to really unravel in Enugu. Because democracy, the essence of democracy is about the opposition. When the opposition is not active, it makes nonsense of the whole thing. We are not telling them, instead of going about in the street, disturbing the peace of the people, why not refer the matter to EFCC to crucially look into it and settle the matter?
Okay, you keep saying that this is for a viable, strong opposition. But again, you've raised concerns about the deputy governorship candidate of the APC. And I'm wondering, how's that the business of the PDP? But more importantly, are you going to court?
No, what we are trying to highlight is the proclivity for some dubiety. For instance, at the INEC office and even in their website, the person who is the deputy governorship candidate of the party is one Robert Ngu. It's part of the issues that the opposition to him have been contending at Abuja. That Robert Ngu comes from the same senatorial zone as Chifu Chenaji. And the Chifu Chenaji comes from Enugu East senatorial zone. Robert Ngu comes from Enugu East senatorial zone. And two of them have been fielded as the governorship and the running mate. Yet, in all the billboards in Enugu, in every poster, you see Ogara as the running mate. And we're trying to say, what kind of duplicity is this? Is it not 419? What are they trying to portray? It is a fact. Anybody can go to INEC website and they verify. And we're saying that Ogbodo, unfortunately, he has this proclivity for riotous coordination of things. It is indeed unfortunate that PDP has allowed natural blessings like the people in their camp to be turned to natural burden due to a paralysis of the will.
to blame for that? Is it not the PDP? I mean, like we say in this part of the world, if there's no cracks in the wall, the enemy cannot come in. Are you putting the blame on the APC or the PDP itself?
You mean why they have the confusion in their camp?
Yeah, and the point that you just
Why should we concern? Why should we concern ourselves with the internal issues about APC? The only thing that concerns us is that in every situation that Ogbodo has been asked to go and reconcile with their people, he resorts to PDP. He resorts to calling the name of our governorship candidate. He resorts to calling PDP name. And he has done so much that even the real members of APC in Enugu State believe that it's a mole planted. Yet we know that it's not a mole, although he was one of us. He was one of our national delegates in 2019. But we have dispensed with that, and we want him to concentrate and build the party. That is the essence of democracy.
Than that, I mean, you're checkmating each other in the coast city, Enugu. We have to thank you, Nana Ogbodo, the Director of Communications and Spokesman of the Enugu State's PDP Campaign Council. Thank you so much for coming on the news tonight. We do appreciate your time.